may know, I am married to my husband, Eric, and we love each other a lot, but you know, there are times when we get into arguments. And we had one last week, and it went something like this. I had to drive Eric somewhere. It was Mount Vernon, and from Poughkeepsie, it's kind of far. It's like an hour and a half. And while doing that, I also had to be on a Zoom call. And so I was kind of distracted because I was supposed to be paying attention to this meeting. And when I dropped him off at the location in Mount Vernon, he said, "Go home." But I didn't really register that. And in my mind, I thought that I had to wait for him. So I was waiting, and my meeting had finished, and I was thinking, wow, there's a Metro North train station right nearby this place. I should have just told Eric to take a train home so I don't have to wait. And I was thinking about this, and I was waiting and waiting, and it was taking longer and longer, but I didn't want to bother his meeting. It was an important business meeting. So finally, a few hours later, I said, "When are you going to be finished? Because we need to get going." And he said, "What are you talking about? I'm already on the train. I told you to go home." And at that moment, my anger just flew over, and I yelled at him, and I said, "What do you mean? I've been waiting for you all this time. How could you have taken the train?" And he said, "Well, I told you to go home." And at that time, I vaguely remember that he said that, but at that moment, I was so angry with him that I was just, I was just fuming. And so when I finally got home, I sort of calmed down, and we're eating, and I said, "I'm not going to get angry at him. I'm not going to get angry at him." And then as we're eating, we're talking about what happened, and it came up in the conversation, and he said something to the point of, "Well, I told you it wasn't my fault." And then the whole thing blew up again in my heart, and I was saying, I kind of know that it was my fault that I didn't hear you when you told me to go home. But you know what? I did you a big favor driving you around. At least you could say is thank you for driving me around, and at least apologize for my pain, even though it was my fault, because you're my husband. And you know what he said? He said, "I would have if you didn't get angry at me, but because you got angry at me, I don't want to apologize." And then we got into a bigger fight because he refused to apologize. And at that point, I was even angrier about the fact that he would apologize than when he left on the train. And I was just fuming and so angry at him. And finally, he came down a little bit later, and he kind of looked a little bit down, and he said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "I don't know, but I'm sorry." And I kind of knew that he didn't really mean it, but you know what? In my heart, that was all it took. And the anger that was boiling in my heart kind of dissipated. And a few hours later, it was not only as if nothing happened between us, the argument, but it was even better than before. We were very kind and loving to each other. And just wanted to share this verse with you. The Lord does not require us to do some grievous thing in order that we may have the forgiveness of sin. We need not make long and wearisome pilgrimages or perform painful penances to commend our souls to the God of heaven or to expiate our transgression. But he that confesseth and forsaketh his sin shall have mercy. Praise the Lord that our God is a God of mercy and forgiveness. And he is not like us human in that we have these grudges and grievances, but that he is ready to forgive and waiting for you to come to him so that he can forgive you and allow his love to enfold you. And with that, I love you all. God bless you, and see you next time.